I am good. I've just started recording. I watched our last session this morning to like fill me in on where I got to with you. And I got my calendar next to me because I have never looked more forward to therapy than I have been looking forward to today. I can tell you what.
That worries me. Okay.
No, it's a good thing. So the last time you and I spoke was on the 30th of September. And I explained to you what was going on and sort of the nightmare.
Door on your
Yeah. So I told you about my friend Moby, who I met, who volunteers at the dollar shop for his friend.
Yeah.
And how he had helped me with the door. And I remember saying to you that we'd got the door on, but it didn't like latch or lock or anything. And that's where we were at when I spoke to you on Monday the 30th of September.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, so like 2-3 days later, Moby came to help me get the door to latch. Now the house was screwed, as you know, and the poor thing, which should have been a 10-minute job, took more like 3 hours, right? And by this point, I was feeling pretty guilty, right? And because of how much work this man was doing for me and how long it took to do this fucking little fiddly ass job, yeah?
I'm just going to close the blind behind you because I can't see you very well.
Okie dokie, I know you want to see me.
I can hear you. I'm just going to be
Yeah.
on camera. Yeah.
All good, doll. So I'd been sort of like making dinner and, you know, having a wine with him the first few nights. He'd come out the week before that. But on the Wednesday, I didn't really have anything to eat besides eggs on toast. And he was like, I'm going home to have eggs on toast. And I was like, well, you've been here for hours. I was like, how would you feel? I was like, first off, tell me if there's takeaway places in this place. I don't know. I was like, but how would you feel if I got takeout and some wine and came to your house with Boss? And he's like, yeah, that's cool. And then I was like, since, you know, the only time we've had a wine together, you know, you've had to drive home, I was like, can I just stay the night and then we can have a proper drink? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. So me and Boss went and we got here on the Wednesday night, so the 2nd of October, and for the first time in my entire life, I felt at home. I felt genuinely happy and safe in a way that I think is what you've been trying to teach me this entire time I've known you, which is like normal, happy, regular feelings. And I remember saying to Moby, I was like, oh my God, this is what Nicole's on about. This is what she's been trying to tell me. I was like, is this what regular people feel like? I was like, because it's tripping me out, yeah?
Not all the time, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I didn't want to go home, right? Because when I spoke to you last, I remember saying to you, they'd been down, and I told you about all the problems and the abuse and the crap. And then I'd said that the weekend that they had just left, because they'd left the day before I spoke to you, I'd said, you know, I think it's settling down, it's starting to get better. I wasn't attacked this weekend, right? I was wrong. So I came on the Wednesday and they were due back on the Friday for the long weekend. And so they had told me that they had a function to go to on the Friday night, right? And I was having such a good time at Moby's house. I was going back and forth to the house. Like I went out to the house to make sure the birds were fed and the house was good and whatever. And then I came back and Sammy messaged me saying, you know, we're in Rockhampton, which is giving me the 1.5 hour heads up. And I just text back saying, yeah, cool, I'm not home. You have to go around the side to open the doors because that's how I've shut the house up. I'll see you when I see you, so to speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's all good. So the Saturday morning she messages me and she goes, hey, Liv, just so you know, the guys are coming. Don't feel obligated to come back. We know they make you uncomfortable. So I was like, okay, I'm not coming back. So I stayed again at Moby's house. So I've now been at Moby's house Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night, and it's now Saturday, and I'm being told, stay away if you don't want to be uncomfortable, right? So I was like, okay. I stayed away, right? I truly did not want to go back. I waited until 5:30 on Sunday night in the hopes that they would be gone. But I still felt like I needed to go back because I hadn't seen them at this point and they were leaving on the Monday.
Okay.
So I went back on the Sunday and they were still there. And mind you, they'd done all this work, right? But they're like, I got there and my car spot was gone. Like, they'd covered up how I get into my room. They'd made it really like, it was very evident that anything that I was trying to do to make the house my home, they were undoing it and just dumping everything of mine in front of my door, so to speak, yeah? Thankfully, at this point, I had the door because, like I said, Moby was there for hours on the Wednesday trying to get it to work. So, wasn't great, but, again, wasn't bad either, right? So, on the Monday they left, I lay outside and read and, you know, tanned in a bit and did whatever. And on the Tuesday, I contacted Moby and was like, hey, do you want to go to the movies with me? I really want to see Beetlejuice 2. Yeah?
Is it already out?
It's on streaming services now, truthfully. But yeah, and but we went and seen it at the movies. And I stayed again. And I kept staying. And at this point, I said to Moby as a joke, something along the lines of, oh, if anything goes wrong, maybe I could just live here, right? And he sort of laughed and went, well, I've actually talked to my landlord about getting in a housemate. And I was like, okay. And at this point, I guess I still felt some kind of obligation. I don't know what was going on with me, eh? Anyway, mind you, I think I told you that they got... Did I tell you about the turkeys? Actually, no, I watched it this morning. I didn't mention the turkeys. So Sammy had told me they were getting chickens for eggs, right? Now, the peacocks look after themselves, right? I was under the impression they were getting laying hens, like, do their own thing. What they actually got were these little bitty brand new flippin' baby turkeys, brought them in, caged them up, told me it was my job to look after them, but I'm not allowed to think of them as pets because they are food, right? But at no point was I asked if I was okay to have to now take care of these 4 baby birds, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, common courtesy, where the hell is it, right? And when she's like, you have to do this, this, and this, but it's food, and they're just making these slaughter jokes in front of me. Anyway, I'm getting past it by this point because everything
Our turkeys are not really a common food product here.
Oh, they'll be due by Thanksgiving, is what Sammy said. Sonny was like, maybe next. Either way.
If they're little turkeys, they're not going to be ready by Thanksgiving.
No, but that's not the point, Nicole. But like at this point, I'm genuinely not wanting to leave Moby's house, right? Because the feeling that I was getting with Moby was what I was hoping I would get with them, right?
Yeah.
And
a home.
A genuine fucking home, exactly, right? You're a smart woman. You can see the background in this house, yeah? It's different.
I saw the photos.
Yeah. So, did you get my emails?
Yeah.
Good, because I was going to ring and say, check the emails. I looked everywhere for my, after photos for the room, but I think I made them on videos. But anyway, so now at this point, me and Boss are pretty much staying at Moby's house. And I've said to him, because he then tells me, he's on an age pension. I think I told you, I did. I said to you last time, the dude's 72 years old. It's fucking believable, yeah? And, rent and bills, and it's no different to everyone else. financially it was hard, yeah?
Yeah.
And he had been, like, wanting to get a housemate, but not really sure how to go about it. And then I just rock up out of the freaking blue and, you know, walk into the shop.
And then you start to actually get along.
Oh, like I said in the last one, I watched our session this morning, so I'd flipping know what I'd already told you. Anyway, and I just kept saying to him, this is so unreal. This isn't real. I need to see Nicole. Wait until I tell Nicole. Like, this is, like, no shit. I have talked about you more than I freaking love therapy, especially with you.
I'm noticing the background.
That's what I'm saying.
Your home is dramatically different.
It is dramatically different. And it's a given people were going to be hearing this. I'm filming this like I always do. But, all right. Hey, Moby.
Hello.
Where are you?
Hey, how are you?
I don't know where I'm.
So, he's on the couch. I see him. It's okay. So, it feels like
So
I'll made a decision.
I'll tell you in order, right? So at this point, I'm saying to him, and again, I've gone over it about 1 billion times in my head trying to figure out why I did this. Maybe as a therapist, you can help me figure it out. So at this point, I'm saying, okay, I absolutely love being here. I never want to leave. I truly have never felt like this. Not as a child, not living with an ex-partner, not living with my sister, housemates, no one ever. Not living by myself. This is a feeling that is so unbelievably brand fucking new that I've probably driven him insane by how many times I've said it, right? I've said it a lot, yeah? Just
Probably.
questioning this crazy feeling, right? So I said to him, would it be okay? And it started with me walking past the room that I was using here, right? Because it's a 3-bedroom house, right? And he had his bedroom, another room set up with a queen-size bed, and a big, absolutely gorgeous Duchess, which I'll show you a photo of. And then another room with 2 single beds. And I said to him, I was walking past the room, and because I kept staying here, I was bringing stuff with me. And I felt like, this is very stereotypical, so don't judge me, like a teenage kid who didn't clean their room. Every time I walked past, I would have shit on the floor. And it was driving me crazy, right? And so I said to him, I was like, I brought my entire wardrobe with me from Melbourne. I said I didn't need to, but I did. I said that effectively means I have more than enough clothes to have 2 full wardrobes. One here and one at the farm, right? Because I had half of my luggage still packed away. And I said to him, can I set up the room as a room for me so that I have my own room here and I will pay my way, but I will still be there, if not like the whole weekend, but a night or 2 a week to make sure, like, I don't know why, Nicole, but at this point I had 2 rooms set up, right? So maybe it was fine because obviously if I feel this fucking amazing, he's feeling pretty good as well, right? It's not one-sided, obviously. I'm too much for someone to pretend for this long, yeah?
Yeah.
So by this point, I wrote all this down on my calendar so I could go through this properly with you today. No shit, that's how much I've been looking forward to seeing you, eh? So,
I feel like today's a happy story day.
It's a great story. I'm so happy, all right?
I feel good about it.
Yes. You look amazing too, by the way. I'm so happy you're not straightening your hair.
No, I don't have time for that shit anymore.
Well, I'm glad because it actually looks so much better without it. The only reason my hair's up and not down, which I like better, is because it's so fucking unbelievably hot up here. It sticks to my neck.
Where does Moby live? Where do you live now?
So, I was on the farm.
The Never Land of Queensland?
Yep. So, same town, but it's just town now. So, I was on the farm, and the farm was like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes from the town.
Yeah.
So he lives in the town because that's how I met him at the dollar shop. Like I told you, I walked in the very first day and went, hi, I'm Liv, we're gonna be great friends. It's literally the first... No shit, word of a lie, I've moved in with one of them.
I know.
So like...
So this is great.
Oh, it's amazing. But like I was saying, so at this point, I'd convinced myself, and this is where it's confusing, because every time I thought about it, I was like, I don't want to be at the farm. I don't want to be at the farm, but I need to be at the farm. I have to be there at some point. And I could have
What's
figured
the why? Why do I have to be at the farm? Why?
that's what I'm asking you for, because I don't know the why. But at this point, I'd already said to Moby, I'm going to do the right thing. Not going to lie, for a little while there, I was fucked up in my head because I didn't have to pay rent at the farm. Obviously, I have to pay rent here. But again, universe has done me a solid. You know what I believe in. And like, I've been talking about the fact that I've known that I'm going to get notice from the house in Melbourne at any point they not want to knock it down, right? Nobody knows when that's going to happen. But I pay $100 a week rent in Melbourne, yeah? To have been given notice to go into a house where anyone needs to look at the rental market at the moment, you're lucky to get something under $350 a week. You know what I mean? Lucky. That's almost unheard of even these days.
Yeah.
And so I was really nervous about that for a long time. You know that. And with the farm, I guess in my mind it was like it was permanent, so to speak, if I wanted it to be, and I didn't need to pay the rent. But at the
Never
same,
permanent. And just because you didn't pay financially doesn't mean that you weren't paying in other ways.
oh, I did pay
Contributions.
financially. As Moby said, I paid. I refused to work it out because we're in the thousands of dollars of how much fucking money I spent at that house, right? But we're not at the end of the story. We're only 16 minutes in, you darling. All right? So, at least I'm entertaining. That's why I film stuff, right? I've joined a writing group up here, right? Side
Finish
note.
the story first.
Yes. So, okay, so we're back at the point. So I'm at Moby's now. Once I got it out of my head and we talked properly, I realised that the absolute right thing to do was to pay my way correctly. Now, on top of all of this, right, universe is amazing, as we know. Moby pays $550 a fortnight in rent, right? Making it $275 a week. So if you split that between us, we're paying a weekly rent of $137.50 each, which means I'm only paying $37.50. Huh?
I need to move to Queensland.
That's
way
amazing.
good for a three-bedroom.
Look, I haven't met the landlord yet, but I've heard a lot about him, and he sounds like a really amazing person. And it's all privately done, and like, you know, it's all discussed in there. I mean, Moby's a hell of a man. He was a paramedic for God knows how long. He knows it's awesome. He's teaching me how to be quiet and listen. It's wonderful. Oh, I know, you should see the look on her face. Oh my God, you should see the look on her face. Yeah, she's clapping for you. Honest to God, I know how to be quiet. I don't think any of us thought that was a thing we could do. So, yeah. So, I'm staying here. I've said I'm going to start paying half the rent, half of the bills, paying my way. We're already paying food and doing that together. Amazing. Everything's in common. We like the same music, the same TV shows, the same movies. We eat the same. My mum's like, how do you eat the same if you're a vegetarian and he's a meat eater? I was like, well, there are plant-based versions of everything, so we just switch it out. Like we've been having like tenders and salads and potatoes. He has chicken tenders and I have plant-based tenders. Otherwise, it's exactly the same. Do you know what I mean? So it's easy. And it's so, honestly, I feel like I'll be saying this 100 billion times yet. It just feels so unbelievably amazing. Like, I didn't think this was a possible thing.
Tell me the things that you're doing that are separate, though, because you can't do too much.
What do you mean?
You have to both have your own.
Oh, no, we
and
do.
then have a great time.
That's what's wonderful about this, because I've lived in houses with other people and housemates and crap before, and I've always said to Moby, without fail, regardless of the situation, I have ended up retreating to my room and isolating myself, right? And it's like living alone but not, because I am 100% truly me here, as I would be if I lived alone. But it's like we do stuff together, like cooking dinner and watching movies in nighttime, but like at the same time, and it's great because he doesn't like shopping any more than I do, it's a win-win. So whenever we need to go somewhere, we do it together. Like, my car's in the yard, we're getting a car cover, and we just drive his. Yeah, like it. I've got myself a driver, Nicole. Wanted one forever. It's amazing. But it like my mum said to me, she was like, oh, I'm so happy this is all happening, but you know, I'm concerned that if you just isolate yourself to Moby, you won't meet other people. And I was like, well, I've joined sign language classes, I've joined writing classes, like I'm out there doing stuff weekly, so I think
He has his friends too.
Oh yeah, which you know, goes without saying they've all met me now. So anyway, I want to get to where we're at. So at this point, I've said to Moby, I'm moving in. I've split everything up. Oh my God, what a nightmare. Pure and utter anxiety every single time I had to think about going to the farm, right? The last time I went, so on the, yeah, like I said, so they were down for the public holiday. That was when I didn't come back. I went back to his house the following, spent the week. So I spent like 2 weeks here going back and forth to feed the birds, right? And in the meantime of going the back and forth, I was slowly taking and returning stuff while splitting the rooms into two, because I was terrified they would find out. And I don't know why I was so afraid of everything with them, yeah? And I was just secretly doing stuff because I was scared, you know, they'd walk into my room and notice something with the shelf or the clothes. And it was just, even thinking about it back, it seems so ridiculous that I even contemplated all of this, knowing that I had this place. I guess part of it was I came up here for the rural side of it. I've spent all this money, and then, you know, Mum helped me sort of with the whole I don't remember the saying, but it's something like, don't flog a dead horse sort of thing. Just because I've spent all this money, don't keep spending more to try and make it back up, so to speak.
The gambler knows when to fold them.
Yeah, exactly. And at this point, I was not even staying there. Literally staying there. Like, I would go there, like I said, do what I needed to do and come back, yeah? Because the feeling I got there wasn't even remotely an inkling to what I was getting with Moby. And it's not even just...
Well, you didn't feel safe, like, the whole time. That was the issue. Like,
the safe...
Cleanliness aside, basic level of safety, you didn't have a door.
No, I didn't have a door, exactly. So, this all went on, right? And then it got to the 18th, the Friday the 18th, right? So, they were coming down. And...
October.
Yeah, October, yeah. So... I'd been messaging them, right? Now, they had told me to feed the birds. Now, as you know, the house and the farm is full of shit from the dump, right? Including the pantry. So the pantry was absolutely chock brim at the top, full of very, very expired product cans, right? So I'd been told to feed the birds this stuff, so expired vegetables, and like I went through all the vegetables and the stuff they told me, and at this point I'm going, I don't bloody know, so I start feeding the birds chickpeas and lentils and just working my way through the cans. It got to the point where I had like 2 cans of beans left. I lined up every single can there was left in the pantry, sent the photo to Sammy and said, we're out, I can't feed the birds any of these, I'm feeding them this, and I have 1 can left for tomorrow, knowing she'd be back on the Friday, right? Because this was now the Thursday at this point. And she goes, yeah, that's cool. Because I said, look, you need to figure out food, because I didn't want to, the amount of petrol, I'm back and forth looking after these things.
These are not your birds.
These are not my birds, right? And I'm thinking, I'm running out of food, I don't know what to do with them. Like, just because I'm not allowed to think of them like pets and their food, they're still living creatures. I'm a fucking vegetarian for a reason.
Issue, or whatever the Queensland equivalent is, if they're not well taken care of.
Exactly. Like, so, anyway, Sammy says, yeah, that's cool. Oh, I'm going to get the bird food in the industrial area. Now, I thought she meant up in Mackay before she came down, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, it's Friday morning at this point, and I go to my riding club for the first time, right?
Nice.
And it's and every other Friday, 2 hours, Friday morning, 9:30 to 11:30 in the morning at the Gladstone Library, right? And Kathy, my friend, who from uni who I've met up here told me about it, and I'm looking to meet people. So you know me, I love meeting people. So I was like, I write every day with my websites and my videos and my stuff, and pretty much the whole club is just come and write. It doesn't matter what, just meet people. And so I went, and I was feeling good, and I'd contacted Sammy via Messenger, and we were sort of in contact, and I'd said to her, you know, I'm at a writing club, and she was really happy and proud. And the thing that would fuck with me the most is it was like I was dealing with two very different people. There was Sammy via messaging when she wasn't here, which was lovely, the person who I thought was my friend, the reason I came up. And then there was Sammy in reality, in person at the farm. And those two people were not the same. They weren't even a little bit the same, yeah? So I get back to Moby's, and he's making lunch. Like, I walk in the door and he's like handing me lunch. Like, can you believe it? It was like I'd won the lotto and meeting people, yeah? And, you know, I'm relaxing, and I'm saying, you know, I haven't heard from them. And then, you know, I send Sammy the message, and I'm like, you know, about what time are you going to be back? Because at this point, I'd been staying at Moby's for argument's sake, 2 weeks, just under. From the Tuesday the 8th, this is now, so 10 days, Friday the 18th. And even though the house was clean, I hadn't been there. So it was still in the same state it was when I'd walked out. And like the previous time they'd come down, like Moby was with me, and I remember feeling like I was a child with a parent about to come home and everything had to be perfect. And it was that feeling constantly. I was so anxious. So when it starts time to get ready, because I said to Moby, I'm going to go stay at the farm on Friday, because Sammy had said to me when she'd left the previous time, in the week between, she was like, the guys are going to be here on Saturday. And I'd said to them, please don't be here when I'm here alone, right? And so Sammy was like, just giving you the heads up, the guys are going to be there. They're doing this, this, and this. And I'm just like, okay, well, I can't be there. So I'm effectively being told I cannot be in my own home at this point. So I said to Moby, I am not risking them being there again. I'll go back on the Friday. I'll go with enough time to completely put the house back into perfect order. It was clean, don't get me wrong. It was just blankets and sheets that needed to be folded and stuff put away. I aired the entire house out, put all the oils and the diffusers on, cooked them both a flippin' meal. I did it all, right? They arrive at about 7 o'clock on the Friday night. 7 o'clock, pretty much exactly. I was still sitting on the couch eating my dinner, and I was watching SVU. Now, by this point, none of the streaming services worked. I hadn't seen this episode of SVU, Law and Order. I'm a big fan, and they're walking in the door. Now, I've explained to you and others, I don't always know if someone is blind drunk. Some people can be wasted and you can't tell, I think. The moment I heard her and saw her, I knew that Sunny was rip-roaring, flying high, more out of it wasted than I've ever seen her. And it wasn't a good, it was for me to notice it, especially when she's that big of a fucking alcoholic. It was something, because I'm sitting on the couch and obviously I hear the car pull up. And she's screaming, hello, hello, hello. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm in here. No, that's Sammy's driving. But Sonny's way and truly wasted. But they crack open a can when they get to the dirt road, right? So they were drinking by the time they pull in. They sort of come in, and I get up and I, you know, give them a hug. And I say, oh, you know, dinner's there. It's ready. It's made for you to dish yourself when you're hungry. And Sammy's like, really? And I was like, yes, really. I was like, I know you work hard, I know you're very busy, I know you've had a really long drive. I was like, I made dinner, so you don't have to worry about it, it's ready to go, eat when you're hungry, yeah? And she was really grateful, right? Which, when I relay it back, just makes everything that happened next seem really stranger. So she was happy. I went back to sit down and finish my own dinner, right? And now, obviously, I've been watching my show. This is, by this point, I'm like, it's a housemate scenario. So there in the kitchen, Sammy goes into her room and starts going, "Give me the drugs! Give me the drugs! I need my drugs!" Now, she's talking about weed, sure, whatever, but it was sort of, And so they're in the kitchen at this point, and I'm starting to second guess myself already. Mind you, I've been an anxious mess since hours before I even got there, yeah? And I'm going, okay, do I need to get up? Can I stay here? Am I allowed to keep watching my show? This is happening in my head, right? And I'm just thinking, this is unbelievable. So I get up because I finished my dinner, right? So I'm walking past them at the kitchen table to go to put the dish in the sink. And I say to Sammy, as I'm walking past, again, quite casually, did you remember the bird food? Because mind you, the last time I'd fed them, remember, was the Thursday. Now, when I got there on the Friday, I checked, right? They needed fresh new food. They had leftovers from the day before, but ideally, it needed to be replenished, yeah? And they needed that food. We'd already discussed it, yeah? So, very casually, did you happen to remember the food? She says, I'll get it in the morning. Again, like I said, thought she meant Mackay, she obviously meant local, right? Sunny jumps in. They've been home now, mind you, Nicole, for about 5 fucking minutes, all right? Sunny starts losing it. We're not buying them food. Well, no, we're not bloody buying them food. We're feeding them what's in the cupboard. And I looked at her and I went, it's gone. There's nothing left. What do you know? You don't fucking know anything, do you? They're not your fucking birds. What are you? She's losing her mind at me. And I'm just like, okay. And at this point, I feel like I'm about to have a heart attack. But outwardly, I'm doing literally everything in my absolute power to stay as calm as humanly possible, right? So I sat back down on the couch and I'm texting my mum and my friend group. No, I'm texting my mum at this point going, I don't know what to do. It's happening again. They've only been here 5 minutes. I'm staying on the couch. And at this point, I'm saying to mum, I'm proud of myself. I'm on the couch. I'm holding it together. I'm just going to watch my show. I'm just going to ignore them. Yeah. And she's losing it at me about how they're not my birds and I don't know anything. And I'm like, well, actually, you're right. They're not my birds. Find somebody else to look after them. I'm not doing it anymore. Yeah? And you could see that Sammy was sort of registering how big a fucking issue everything was going to be if I stopped doing everything they want me to do, right? Because I'm making their life amazing. I'm cooking, cleaning, doing literally everything for them. They arrive, the house is spotless, their fucking meals are done, everything is done, and I'm being attacked, like viciously attacked at this point, right? And I'm trying to stay calm, and they're trying to go at me when I said, well, they're not my birds. I was like, you didn't even ask me. I said, nothing. And then Sonny's like, oh, you're not liking it here, are you? Oh, yeah. You're not really enjoying yourself, are you? And I just stood up and started gathering my stuff and was like, I did not come here to be attacked. I said, you have attacked me since the day I arrived. I said, not once do you ever ask me how I am. Not once. I said, you get here, you sit down, you start together. I said, you've told me that many fucking times that you work together, but you don't get to spend any time together, so your time here is to catch up on shit. I said, that never includes me. I said, not once since I've arrived have you fucking ever included me. And they're like, I'm still calm at this point because I'm terrified. Yeah? She is flying high and she's dangerous. Right? She is one fucking unhinged woman, right? And I'm shaking. Like I'm shaking to the point where just reliving it and putting myself in there is making me shake because I'm in a house and all I keep thinking is, how has this happened? Like I never in a million years could have foreseen how Who the fuck invites someone every single fucking day, week, weekend, whatever, for a year to attack them? I'd been there for 2 months at this point. I arrived on the 17th of August, and it was now the 18th of October, right?
So what do you think
2 months.
is the reason? I have a hypothesis. What's your hypothesis?
Well, insecurity maybe in a sense, but again, I would just put it, she's just a fucking rude, vile, aggressive. I'm not going to even say the end of that sentence. Please tell me your hypothesis. Oh, I'll finish the story and then you can tell me. So by this point, I'd picked up all my stuff, was getting Boss, getting his water, getting his biscuits, putting everything in my room because I was shaking and terrified, right? And again, I'd said to Moby, if shit goes wrong, I will leave. But it's, I don't know how to explain it. It is really like when you see people, like I said to you the last thing. One day I'll tell you about the time I got held up at gunpoint. You think about the fact that you are going to scream and ask and get all this help, but in the moment, it doesn't work like that. Because in that moment, that Friday night, getting in my room with my dog, with my door shut, with it locked, was the only thing I could do. I didn't have anything. But at this point, I am shaking. I'm telling Mum, I'm relaying everything back to my friends group because, mind you, as far as I'm concerned, I am literally being attacked and abused by now. Like I am documenting this daily, what's happening, this abuse. And I immediately sent messages to my mum, my friend group, and Moby saying, that's it, I'm out of here. I'm moving out officially. Fucked a lot of them. I don't know why I was being loyal to them in the first place. So I got up at 7:30 on the Saturday morning. I moved everything I needed into the car real quietly. I went to find Sammy. This again, oh my God, this is what does me, right? I find Sammy and I say, I'm going out. I'll be gone for the day. You know, have a good day. I know this is it. I'm not seeing her again at this rate. Yeah? I'm not saying that, obviously. And she says to me, oh, the dinner you made was delicious. It was so good. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. I had 2 bowls, right? You know? And in my head, I'm thinking, why then at no point did she come to see if I was okay? Because what happened when I went to my room and shut my door was that I could hear them dishing up their dinner. I could hear them doing all of that. And then they put the music on, did it what they do. They blasted it and pretended like I didn't fucking exist. And I was locked in my goddamn room until 7:30 the following morning, too scared to even go to the toilet. So that's that. And then I had said we needed to take the trailer to go and get my stuff. They normally leave on the Sunday. And I sent Sammy a message saying, I'm not going to make it back before you leave. Let me know when you get there so I know you're safe. And that's something that she always did. But when I didn't get the message on Sunday saying that she was back, I had this really intuitive thought like, they're still there. Something's going on. This is not different. This is different. And I knew every single day they were meant to be there because they put it on the calendar, right?
Yeah.
So I said to Moby, I said, we can't risk this until I know. I said, something's different. So I messaged her and I was like, hey, you know, did you get back late? Are you safe? Are you okay? And she responds with, we're still here. And I'm like, yep, I knew that. Thank fuck I didn't take the trailer on the Sunday afternoon, right? But they leave on the Monday. In the end, we didn't need the trailer. We took both of our cars, packed literally
Being you and Moby, right?
Yeah, so Moby has a 4-wheel drive. He's the one that had he's the one that the door fit in his vehicle, which I took with me, obviously. So I took literally every single thing that was mine, including the door, including the new pool filter pump, all the pool equipment, every single thing that I put money into that I could take back, I took back. And then I sent a message to Sammy on the Wednesday saying, I have moved out. And then I wrote a message, which I will screenshot and send to you in an email, because I just needed her to know exactly what it was. And I just literally said, you know, at no point have you treated me like a friend. She's an absolutely vile, unhinged, toxic person who has changed you for the worst. And
this is her partner, right?
no, this is so Sammy I met 8 years ago at a convention in Melbourne. We became friends, but Sunny works with her. So
They're
Sammy
not romantically linked.
no. So they work. So the job that they have at this tip place, right? People who have like criminal backgrounds and drug backgrounds and they've been to prison and stuff, they only hire those people, right? So that's how they know each other. So Sunny got this job where Sammy works 8 years ago. They apparently hated each other to begin with, but over the 8 years, I don't know. Now they say they're each other's best friend. They don't act like best friends. Sammy talks about Sunny behind her back like she's an idiot, but to her face, and it's honestly the most fucked up dynamic I think I've ever seen in a long time. But that's where we're at. So I've officially moved in with Moby.
As of what date?
As of the 23rd of October. Well, the 22nd was the Tuesday when we brought all of our stuff, but I started paying rent on the 23rd. So, but
okay.
So
congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
Good
you.
decision, I think.
Oh, best decision I've ever made.
Also, I just have to ask, the photos that you sent me. That's a lot of dirty.
It's nothing. I've got hundreds and hundreds of photos. I was trying to send them back to you.
It just feels like, is that like, and they continue to, like, that's where they live?
Yeah, so they lived like that until...
I know you cleaned it, but that's what it'll be again.
No, see, I think me coming along and doing what I did somehow kickstarted them, because in all fairness to them, it's the only thing that's actually at all I can say is a good thing. They started really getting into it too. So when I went back, for example, that long weekend on the Sunday, hoping that the guys would be gone, and they weren't, and I was ignored and treated like shit in what was meant to be my home again, they had done a lot of work. Like, it was very noticeable. But again, they were very much taking anything and everything that I had done to make it my home and removing it and then putting it in front of my door and replacing it. So it was highly evident that I was the servant more than anything else.
So let's talk about what maybe, I don't think that it started like that from Sammy, because I don't think that they don't have that foresight. Okay? But I think that we can't discount that you served a purpose for them when you were there. And
absolutely.
As you say, like, and is someone taking care of the chickens, turkey things?
Oh, yeah, so I got to admit, Nicole, I keep thinking about the damn turkeys. I've got too big of a heart.
Want somebody to be taking care of the turkeys.
So they've, because 2 of them died, right?
Well, because they were being fed expired, shitty food.
Yeah, exactly. And when 2 of them died...
They want to eat lettuce, and I don't actually know.
I cried because 2 of them died, right? And I just had to leave it because I said to Moby, I can't deal with any of this. Like, I'm sick and tired of this shit, yeah? And then obviously Sammy's answer was, oh, it's survival of the fittest. And it's like, well, no, that's in the wild. You've got these birds locked up in a cage, meaning...
My domesticated cat survived for almost 20 years. That's not what happens in the wild.
Yeah, so... Yeah. At the moment, so Moby and I found on the property one of those bird feeding things. So you put all the seeds or whatever the fuck it is in it, and then they can eat as they need.
But they have to buy a seed thing.
Yeah, so apparently it can last the time that they're away. And when we went to go and get all my stuff, obviously, because the whole thing started with me asking about the bird food. So, Sammy went and got it, she filled it up. When I left, when I said, I'm not going to see you, she messaged me saying, they've got enough food for the week and we'll be down in a week. And I was like, yep, cool. And that's when I was told they were coming back in a week. And I was like, we need to get my stuff ASAP. And at this point, again, I'm still looking after the food for like the water and checking on them. So when we get there on the Tuesday, the bird food thing was full. Look, I don't know much about them, but it literally looked like it was filled with gravel. It did not look like any kind of food I've ever seen. So I checked the water, and at this point they've knocked the water over and it's bone dry. So they've had no water since they have left until I've arrived the following day. And I'm freaking out going, okay, they've got food for the week, but what do I do about the water? So this is when I message Sammy the following day, and I'm like, look, I've moved out, yada, yada, yada. I'm worried about the water. It was the following day, because she didn't even react to the message I sent. Like, I sent a screenshot to my group chat, read it to Moby, and sent it to my mum, and I was like, giving you all a heads up. This is what I think. And they're like, yeah, send it. You got nothing to lose. And nothing. Everyone was waiting, including me, for a rebuttal, and all I got was a heart acknowledgement, and that was it. And then, like, the following day, I was beyond worried about the birds, and I messaged saying, look, I'm really worried about the birds. Do you have someone to check on them? When I went out, they didn't have any water. It's boiling degrees, they need to be looked after. And so I volunteered. We went back out to the farm. What are you going to do? I don't know what to do. And so we went out and we checked. We did all of that, right? But I said to Moby just a couple of days ago, no, she said something in the message after I'd moved out. We were talking about the water for the birds, that, she was getting some kind of, I don't even know what it is, like self-serving water thing for them so that they'll have enough for the fortnights that they're away. But I don't know. And I've been tempted to message her in the last, week, I guess, to see if they're okay, because I know they don't care. But I also can't be responsible all the time either.
No, I would consider just informing the RSPCA and let them look into the situation, and they'll make directives. And if not, they'll be rehomed.
Good point. Didn't think of that.
Like, it's not their job. Your job is not to say that they need to be removed. Your job is to say, I'm concerned about a welfare of an animal. Have a look.
Yeah, that never
entered. If it
entered.
was a horse, the same thing would happen.
That never entered my head, I'm going to be honest. So that makes sense.
Like,
I mean,
it's not ideal, but I'd rather be safe than sorry.
I would too. Like I said, their attitude is just is implorable. It's disgusting in a level that I just cannot. Like I said, the whole me having the 2 rooms and going back and making sure the house was done and cooking for them, I don't even know why I was doing that.
I think because you felt like there was an obligation type thing, because Sammy had offered you a place to stay. It's the same reason you did all the work that you did. When you got there, you felt some element of obligation, appreciation, whatever, but once it got to a certain point, I think you did it because you didn't kind of want to be like presumptuous with Moby and be like, I'm moving in, I need somewhere to go. You had to give it a try.
Like
I think that was important for that relationship too. But you've tried, and it's certainly not a good thing for you to be in a place where you feel unsafe, and so you don't go back.
Come closer to the computer so I can hear you properly, darling. That's better. You're just fading in and out.
Like far away.
No, God, that's funny looking. No, you were fine before. You just were fading in and out. I see ya.
That's weird.
So that was your what was that your hypothesis? Because I had to clean it.
When you got up there, things changed. I think that the idea of having someone in their house when they're not there is great. But then when you actually got there, they don't like having you in their house more than they like having themselves in the house.
100%.
Then you came in and you had to make changes because it was unsafe and unsanitary, and nobody likes to be told that that it's not good enough.
That's true.
And you basically had to say, this is not good enough. And
my-
then you had to make, I mean, by a long shot. And then you had to make it better, which has vastly improved their lifestyles. And then you got a bit stuck there because then you'd already gone in so far, and you know the gambler tells you have good money after bad, and knowing when to hold what's it? I don't even
Knowing
know.
when to hold them, yeah.
Wasn't
Knowing
it-
when to fold them, yeah.
That's it. And I think that they, at least in the last little while, have taken advantage of your
100%.
kindness. And Sammy maybe not, but Sunny certainly. And here's some chickens and turkeys to take care of. Like, no, weird, super weird, and that was not okay. And they did take advantage of you.
Oh.
And now that you're gone, and I think you made a friend, you found a home. It's much nicer, objectively, in my opinion.
Oh, it is. It is.
And you seem much happier there.
I
When
am.
you got there, the emails that I got and the conversations we have not been like, I love it, this is great. It's, I don't have a door, and there's mice. Was it mice?
Oh, there were rats everywhere and cockroaches. There were literally cockroaches. I would pull the sheets down to change the sheets on my bed, and there were cockroaches in the fucking bed with me, Nicole.
No, I don't like that.
No.
So, you know, at no point did you say, I really love it here, it's amazing. You said, the area is lovely.
That was it.
Yeah, that was it. You didn't say, my friendship is growing and it's so good to see them, her. You didn't say that.
It wasn't. And
So I think that you went there and then you got a bit stuck, and then I think they took advantage of you, and then they got a bit complacent, and then it all just went to shit.
well, effectively, yeah. And like, I know you say Sammy wasn't so bad, but to me, Sammy is as much capable. Like, she's as
100%.
like
But
she
I don't
did
know
not
that
do.
Sammy was as
She wasn't.
direct about it.
Yeah, except for, like I said to you, the very first full weekend, and like on the Sunday when I asked if we were going to sort through the clothes before they left, and she came into my room and sat down and started screaming at me with spit coming out of her bloody face. Like, that was a personal direct attack, screaming profanities at me and saying things like, I'm a 56-year-old woman, I've got 5 kids, I've done this, I've done that, and I'm just saying none of that is relative to what the fuck is going on. And I'm crying my eyes out. But
I think that maybe the substance issue is a little bit bigger.
Oh, it's a lot bigger. It's 1,000 times bigger. People were smoking ice on the property in front of them, knowing, like, no regard at all.
There's nothing good about that.
Nothing good whatsoever. But like I said to my mum and my friend group, and obviously Moby, everything had to happen the way it did, in the sense of, if the house hadn't been, you know, like, it was going through the fucking crap I went through and having to go to the dollar store what felt like a dozen times, needing Moby to come out over and over and over again to go through this because it was such a nightmare, that I ended up in a place that I've never felt happier in. Like, I feel like I'm coming across angry, but that's just sort of relaying the story, I guess. But I'm like, I think I am angry and I'm sad, and I'm not dealing with that part of it, in the sense of I'm focusing on the good, I'm focusing on how happy I am, I'm focusing on the end outcome, which is this amazing house, which, by the way, we're driving to Melbourne next Tuesday and picking up my furniture and bringing it back. I bought the most expensive couch I've ever sat on in my whole life, because Moby had these big recliners, and I was like, yeah, no, that's cool, they hurt my back, I'm upgrading. So we did. I'll send you photos. Right? So we've cleaned all the recliners to put them up online. Like, the single beds are going online, one's going under his bed, you know, one mum comes.
Does Moby like the new couch?
Moby loves the new couch. Are you kidding? Oh, wait until you see the picture of the new couch. I dragged Moby to literally every single furniture store there was up here. Gladstone, Rockhampton, all of it. We went everywhere. We almost got one, but it just wasn't quite right, because he has chronic pain, I have chronic pain. We both like to binge watch. We binge watched all of Squid Game yesterday, because I said, you got to catch up before the second one comes out, right? And anyway, the seats, none of the seats were really good for either of us by this point. And so I dragged him everywhere. We found one, but it wasn't quite right. And then there's this massive sign when you leave Boyne Island, right, saying furniture discount, furniture discount. And I kept seeing it. And I was like, okay. Said to Moby, humour me. One left to go. Just take me to this one last place. We walked in, told the guy exactly what I wanted. He showed us, and I was like, done deal. And they delivered it like the next day or 2 days after.
Wow.
Exactly. But
you got a cat that has back support?
Do I have a... It's just, it's like I said, I've never sat on a couch that's worth this much before because I would never normally spend this much before. But as far as I'm concerned...
Is it King furniture?
No, Furniture Direct. I'll send it to you. I'll show you.
If you like it, I'm sure it's perfect.
Oh, it's perfect because, like I said, I'm changing everything up here. Like I've got a doctor up here who, by the way, needs paperwork from you. He wants paperwork from you and Elaine and Ashard and all of yours, so that's fine. He said, I have to keep seeing you and Ashard, and I was like, that's a given anyway. He's like, we got none of that support up here, so you absolutely need to keep seeing your therapist. And I was like, well, yes, I love them, so I was going to anyway.
And the ADHD person, stay down here.
Yeah, I spoke to him the other day. Obviously, Elaine gave me paperwork for the doctors. The doctor was like, I don't like this medication, but once I get all the paperwork from your medical team, I will prescribe what needs to be prescribed. He did tell me it was not my body, but my mind that was broken. And I was like, yes, no, been in therapy for a long time. I'm aware of this. But yeah, like, I cannot explain to
you
literally...
made a good choice for your life, Liv, is what you're saying to me, and you're happy with it. And at the end of the day, you got out of a bad situation with who you thought was a really good friend, and you know it's sad when things like this happen and the fracture has occurred. But you are much safer now, and you're in a much better situation for you. And so you got to do what's right for you. And no one should begrudge you that.
No, they don't. Like, my life has gone from chaotic and the most scary it's ever been.
Make sure the turkeys are okay.
Yeah, I am going to do that. I hadn't thought about that because, you know, like, Sonny is ripping off the government like you wouldn't believe. And like, my friends are saying, like I said, look, I'm almost too afraid to be involved, even if it's an anonymous. But Sammy literally said to me, when Sonny declares her income for her, you know, whatever the payments are that you get from Centrelink, she accidentally puts the decimal place in the wrong place so that if anyone says anything, so if she gets 700 a week, she says she gets 70, and she does it constantly. And I'm just like, it's not right. Like, you know, and there's things on the farm that are like, the house isn't even up to code. The septic tank is dangerous at the level it's at. And my friends are saying, you know, people should be reporting them. And I'm just like, they obviously do not know where I am. They have no clue where I live. My car's not anywhere that's viewable. It's in the back of the garden. But, like, there is stuff going on. And I haven't even heard a word from her since any of this. It's like...
I'm kind of not sad about that. I think at the end of the day, you got to do what's right for you. And reporting... Sammy, whichever Sunny, which one, but
yeah, Sammy's the boss.
That's neither here nor there, but what is important is the welfare of you primarily, and them, and the animals. And that's the animals don't have a voice. Yeah, they are big enough and tough enough to take care of themselves, and you are making good decisions for you. Yeah, but give the animals a voice. Yeah, I will. If you feel like you need to, maybe talk to Moby about it because he saw the situation as well, and make a decision. Yeah, that's a good point. I like that. I've got no idea how many sessions I've had with you or if I have any left. If I do, I don't know because I can't check while you're on the phone or something. I know that, but if one of the ladies in the thing can check if something. We've got a new one named Jess now as well. Yeah, I rung before to get the link sent to me, so. Perfect. Sweet. Thank you. I'm going to send a couple more emails when I can, but take your time, but live your life and enjoy it. I am. I'm very happy. Thank you. Okay. I know you got to go. Congratulations. Cheers, darling. I'll see you when I see you. Bye. Bye.